Today I'm going to show you how to make a chest burster from the movie Alien. What could go wrong? And there it is! This video is brought to you by my patrons. More on them in a bit. For this build, I used EVA foam, craft foam, bevel foam, conduit, a model skeleton, a skeletonized snake, and I just grabbed a bunch of these on sale. As a prop maker, my only holiday is the day after Halloween. That's my Christmas. And Tubishvat. Paint, super glue, hot glue, cutting tools, sanding tools, safety gear, scissors, razor pens, and a box cutter. Alright, today I'm gonna make the chest burster from Alien. No one show this to Ian Holm. What? He's dead? Can't be dead, I just saw him in Alien Romulus. What do you mean I need new glasses? Oh boy. I started by taking the head off. The last time I used one of these for a build was the facehugger. A little bit of continuity in the creatures. That one had a cobra head. This one is meant to be a mutant double-headed snake, but the tail part is exactly the same. I went on a big rant in the facehugger build about how any living snake is scarier than a dead snake, and I haven't changed my opinion. Even with the two-headed snake. What's scary about a dead two-headed snake? I don't understand. Okay, so there was a living two-headed snake. It's a thing that sometimes happens in nature. It's a rarity. And they got one of these for the Jurassic World movie, one of the new Jurassic movies, just to be in the background in a lab. Like, oh, here's one of our crazy genetic experiments. And in the behind the scenes, I'm the kind of guy who watches behind the scenes stuff. Could you tell? Oh, wow, the guy who makes props watches behind the scenes stuff. What a stretch. Anyway, in the behind the scenes, Bryce Dallas Bryce Dallas. Why with the three names? Don't you know I have seasonal allergies? Inconsiderate actor. You know what? For the sake of my sinuses, it was Jessica Chastain. Just casually glancing at the snake, and she is more freaked out by this real mutant than by any of the fake dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs are really, that's the best Jurassic dinosaurs have ever looked. Just saying. My point is, you need to go for realism, Spirit Halloween. Just make a bunch of rubber spiders and throw them at people. That's how you be scary. That's how you freak somebody out. Not, oh look, it's dead. Ooh, it's not a threat. Dead equals not a threat. What was I doing? All right, making a thing. So I disassembled the two-headed part and got rid of that. However, the last time I did one of these, I held on to the cobra head because I felt like it might come in handy. And again, because I can actually use this for the chest burster's core, like the core structural part that I'm gonna build everything else on top of. It'll also save me a bit of sculpting time, a tiny bit. I'm gonna have to cut away a lot of this. I only really wanted to use the jaw and the bottom half, but the top portion is actually what holds the jaw together and allows it to hinge. So that means I'm gonna have to cut away as much of the hood as I possibly can without compromising the structural integrity of the parts that the screws go into. To do that, I'm gonna use my rotary tool with the narrow sanding disc. Always wear eye protection when using the disc attachment. I thought I could get away with my regular glasses, but nope. Ah, my eye! I'm not supposed to get molten plastic in it. Always wear eye protection. After removing what is essentially an opaque contact lens from my eye, I got back to work. I removed the flared out sides, but I still have to shave down the top and get rid of the eyes because xenomorphs don't have visible eyes. I think they did in the script, and Giger built them into the, like, behind the hood, but just didn't read through. Then again, I don't know, apparently I need new glasses. So I did some more precise work with my rotary tool, wearing goggles this time. It's in the tools and materials list. Until I had removed all but the parts that I needed. Then I reattached the front part so that the jaw would stay in place and hinge. After that, I glued one end of the wide foam dowel into the front and held it in place until it cooled. Once it was securely in place, I cut it down to size. And then I reattached the tail. The edges of the bevel didn't quite line up with the width of the head, so I built it out using scrap pieces of 2mm craft foam. I almost always save the offcuts just for moments like these. I cut these tiny little panels and glued them in with hot glue. Also, hot glue looks organic when it dries. And seeing it all together, I realized that I actually misjudged the length of the bevel and have to make a new back headpiece. I mean, I don't have to, I can get away with it. You're supposed to cover these things with slime when you actually use them for a shoot, but it's like, am I gonna gonna do the extra step now or later, and I choose now. You're welcome, future Jake. I cut another length of bevel and trimmed the end into a very rough taper. So I had to cut that off with scissors and re-round it on the belt sander so that it looks organic. After it was rounded out, I heat formed it with a heat machine because fire bad. Also algorithmic monitoring. And I skewered it when it was sufficiently heated up. I stuck it in one of my tool holders below the workbench to cool down. While it cools, I built up a structure on the body for it to attach to and sit properly just above the tail. Like it's a little bit longer than the part of the tail that connects to the body. I used pieces of scrap foam for that just to keep it out of the ocean. I'll leave no trace and all that. By now the extended back of the head is cooled down and thus will be able to retain its curved shape. So I glued it on with hot glue. See, there is a working time and a dry time with hot glue. I like to use it when I can because it's faster, but it's still not instant. Now I have to get rid of that seam. So I got out the putty and applied it to every crack in the surface, whether it be from the foam or the injection molded plastic, which would give it away as a toy rather than a organic creature. This will take several applications before they're completely invisible, and each layer has to be totally dry before applying another one. So I placed it over a heat register to speed up the dry time in between application. While this does speed things up a bit, the number of rounds of re-puttying will still add up. It'll take a while, at least a day, especially this time of year. Starting to get why a lot of these movies are shot in the desert, so I took this opportunity to binge the Alien franchise. Again. I still skipped Alien 3. When I couldn't see any more seams, I moved on. I cut up some engine conduit and glued it to the underside of the chest burster, just to add another layer of detail. A lot of conduit was used in the making of these movies. It's the first two anyway. I hid the edges with hot glue, again for that organic look. Sometimes you can even get the strands to look like veins. Not always though. Then I took the pieces of the model skeleton and attached them to the chest burster, also with hot glue. The tension holds it in place, but I added hot glue just for good measure. I guess you only really need the ribs. You know, it's up to you whether you want to make it like how much you want it to look anthropomorphic, because you can get away with the snake look. But in some of the movies, this little guy has limbs that aren't fully developed yet still identifiable below the snake skin, and in yet other depictions, they're fully formed. And in some, they're just a snake. I'm gonna split the difference and add arms, sort of folded up in an Egyptian mummy kind of way, and only do the start of the legs, because those are harder to blend with the tail. Not impossible. First though, I attached the ribs. Don't need all the bones. Since I got rid of the spine, I trimmed off the tails that are meant to hold it to the spine, and then glued the section into the little trench on the side of the chest burster. I did one side at a time so that they wouldn't settle and become lopsided, and I covered the seam in the middle with a line of glue. Then I attached the shoulder blades and the arms. One of the hands was missing, so I made a partially formed claw out of scrap pieces. Most of these parts were I'm going through all this effort, but when I was rewatching Alien, I paused it for this scene because, it's for reference, obviously. You're building it, maybe you should actually take a look at it. And it looks like it's got little chicken wings. It's hilarious. Then again, I've seen this movie like 19,000 times, so who am I to judge? So I made a partially formed claw out of scrap pieces, just so that there's something there. And when the glue dried, I used tweezers to remove all the little glue threads that stand out. They work great for spider webs or xenomorph egg slime, but don't work for the chest burster. Now it's time to paint. So in my facehugger build, I went on about how you can't attach the tail before painting because the tail is made of rubber and the spray paint will kind of dissolve it a bit. This time around, I'm using a semi-gloss house paint, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I find myself using house paint a lot more often these days. Although, I still have the occasional use for Plastidip. Not trying to put down anyone's favorite product. It's crazy. People get into flame wars over crafting supplies. It's like, dude, man, there's wars right now? You're passionate about the wrong thing. I let it dry overnight. Lastly, I added silver to the teeth. The alien has metal teeth, biomechanoid. And that's how to make a chest burster. Wait, we're not done yet. To get the effect to work, you need either a green screen or a dummy, or both. Luckily, I have so many props left over from other builds, including a dummy of myself that I made when I was doing Stormtrooper armor, and every Stormtrooper armor variant, and it kind of got crushed when I moved. So since I gotta cut into it to add internal reinforcement anyway, in order to fix it, I might as well use it for the effect shot. Cut a hole in the front, just wide enough for the chest burster to fit through. I labeled that so that I know where it would go, because I am gonna have to glue it back in. I have so many more suits of armor to build. Then I cut a hole in the back of the torso for me to feed the creature through. After that, I set up the shot. I dressed the dummy in a button-down shirt just for the opening in the front so that I don't have to destroy one of my good shirts. Then I fed the creature through and puppeteered it from the back for the effect. And that's how to make a chest burster effect. If you want to know how to make the full-size xenomorph, or most of the alien props, you can check out some of my other build videos. I've done so many alien props. Have I done all of them? Let me know in comments below if I missed any. But for the ones I have built, there are going to be links down in the description below, the comments section below, and linked in the end of the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Before I wrap things up, I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Those are the names scrolling by. It's because of their generous donations that I'm able to make these videos. Specifically, we want to give a shout out to the new patrons, Doug W, Z Henry, and Mike Cheka, as well as high-level contributors such as Gabriel T, Graham K, Paul W, Dexter M, Diego G, Montana R, Kieran A, and Kendrick E. Literally, I'd read the whole list, but I'm losing my voice. If you want to join them, then you can check out the links in the description down below for patron channel services, such as early uploads and limited ads. Alright, hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of the future uploads, because it's kind of at a totally random schedule. And let me know what other props you'd like to see me make in comments down below. Thanks again, happy crafting, see you later.